Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It is me. It is Mike Lepre. Back after a week off. I enjoyed the week off, but I'm glad to be back. This is what I do. This is legit fantasy football from legitfantasysports.com. We've got a lot of football to talk today. I know it sounds like, why do you have football to talk today? Because we do. Joining me as always, Brother Ray. Brother Ray, how are we today?
Pretty good, King. What's new?
Not much. I've been trying to run, get myself in better shape. Other than that, yeah, it was a good week for me as far as clearing my head.
You look well rested, ready to go?
Yeah. I got just so you say it again, on June 26th and 27th, me and Genius Kev will be the guest MCs of the third annual Virginia Bigfoot Con, located in Defiance, Virginia, which is absolutely a beautiful. Like, looking it up now, one, it's absolutely beautiful. Two, me and Kev are gonna stick out like two guineas in the middle of the woods, like nobody's business. They're gonna be like, "What's up with you there, Italian boy?" Like, you know what I mean? Like you agree? I'll rub your face for some grease. You know what I mean? Like we might catch that the whole time we're there. But I'm going anyways, Ray. That's how that goes.
The event's sold out, by the way.
Yeah, is it? Wow.
Sold out.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And joining us though, Mastradamus. What's up, Matt?
Good morning, gentlemen. How we doing this morning?
What's going on, Matt?
Good.
Good morning, brother. Good morning, King.
Discussing the Bigfoot Con that me and Genius Kev are going to be the guest MCs for. It's June 26th and 27th in Fort Defiance, Virginia. And Matt, I immediately thought of you because you would love to live there.
I love Virginia. How did you know that? Virginia is my one of my favorite states. Of course, it's moved a little bit to left for me, but in terms of scenes,
I don't even care about that. I'm talking about the way
I love Virginia. I've done a lot of time in Virginia. Beautiful state, no matter what month it is. Gorgeous, beautiful. Love Virginia.
It is, but the event's only 12 to 5 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday, and all I keep thinking is, what are me and Kev going to do after 5 o'clock, say on a Saturday night? We're going to end up in the woods, drunk, off somebody's like shine.
Oh, you can get a. Ooh,
I don't know how to handle a gun.
What part of Virginia are you going to be in, King?
Fort Defiance.
Where is that? Is that Northern Virginia?
Near Stoughton, I think.
Dude, Virginia's big.
It's deep in Virginia. It's deep in the heart of Virginia. All right, so it's going to be awesome. I just don't know what I'm going to do after 5 o'clock with Kev. You know what I mean? In the middle of the woods with all these guys that know how to hunt. They all know how to like shoot. They're all going to have their guns. They're all going to be looking for Bigfoot. And what do we do? We're two Italians that what do we know? What right do we have there? But we'll figure it out. Hey, guys, I want to go over a bunch of things. All right. Here's the main topic I think about today's show is, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it, is I keep watching, I don't know if you guys do this. I watch a lot of YouTube videos where people break down my team, the Giants, or they break down the NFL. I've been doing that a lot lately, watching a lot of shows, you know? All right. Here's my problem. You all right, Matt? Here's my problem with them.
Whenever somebody tries to call me, it messes the thing up, so I got to back out and come back in.
Wow. All right. So, yep. But what bothers me is, Ray, have you seen some of these shows where they're so like bleached? I hate to say that, but it's like some young kid. He's talking like a nice, soft, high-pitched voice, and they're talking about football, but there's not a cent to them about like any reality in football. Like they're so like removed from the game. Am I explaining that well enough? Have you seen any of these kind of like millennial type things where it's like, I don't want to listen to you talk about football because what do you know that you're going to tell me? You're just telling me whatever you read. You know what I mean? They read stuff and then they just spew it back out to you. There's no opinions. They're not telling you about like other stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like anything else, there's some really good ones and some established guys that have been doing it for years, and women for that matter. But there's some that just reek of, I have a camera now. and I'm going to read up on some stuff, and I'm going to regurgitate it and make a show out of it and try and get as many followers as possible. So there's that.
Well, you nailed it. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. The only one that what's up, Matt? The only guy that I really like is the entertainer talking sports. Spelled entertainer, like you would if you were Italian. He comes on. This kid comes on. Now he's not like this bombastic kid. He's got like this real calm personality, and he just hits you with all the facts. But you could tell that he does his research into actually like the training camps and stuff like that. As opposed to, I keep watching these other shows where these guys go, "Welcome back to the football something something." Then they start talking. You're like, "Oh, dude, are you watching Madden? Are you reading this from Madden? Like, you don't know what you speak. You know what I mean?" Matt, have you found that? Because we were just talking about that.
I'll tell you what. I jump around once in a while, but I do. I know what you're talking about with the shows that are just more entertainment than really meats and potatoes. I like Sims, man. I think Chris Sims breaks down the players.
Oh, but that's legit. Yeah, that's a real show. Yeah. Chris
Sims is a very good scout. I would actually hire him for my franchise. He's that good.
Yeah. That's a real show. I'm talking more along the lines of like got subscribers having their own shows like that. I watch a lot of Giants ones, so I got a lot to complain about. I can only imagine the Dolphins ones would be the same. You know what I mean? It's like young kids telling me stuff that they just read.
I can't listen to any of the local shows about Patriots or Boston anymore unless it's Scott Zolak. A lot of them are very, very just, kind of just with the script, entertainment, and not really anything that's factual. They're not really reporting, what their job is. They don't get down to, the strengths, the weaknesses, the acquisitions, the losses. You just hear them seeking out stupid flame material that's clickbait, and there's just not a lot of good journalism or media out there at all.
Yeah, and we're not being sour. We're not being sour about this. It's just the truth. And speaking about the truth, Genius Kev, how are you, Kev?
Hey, good, King. I thought you were going to say speaking about terrible journalists. No. That would have been.
No,
I was up.
Kev, we're talking about like websites that like the Giants ones, for example, just NFL ones that are run by like millennials that they're like everything looks good and they're reciting. It doesn't even sound like they're speaking. It sounds like they're monotone reciting, and it's like have you bumped into those?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's it takes a lot of time to find good ones. I mean, I sift through a lot of garbage to find sites with decent takes on things, and the other thing is most of it is like hot take. They're looking for stuff. They talk about it for a very, very short amount of time. On to the next thing. And like people like us, we're looking at how do the teams stack up for the next season. Looking at like Master Ramos was saying, the acquisitions, free agency, the draft, the changes in the coaching staff, the scheme changes, offensive line changes, all that stuff, and you just you don't get that a lot. It's hard to find that unless you really dig.
Yeah, I have one hot take, and that hot take it doesn't even have to do with this sport, but that hot take is that the three of us with TJ and then even Matt or Buddy, whoever it is, could probably beat one of the WNBA teams if we worked out for a couple of months. I would say probably 20. Just letting you know right now, I would probably score 20. But so I'll throw that out there. All right. What?
King, that sounds like Andy Kaufman with the wrestling thing. You should, if you could throw that out there and arrange that. I could probably give you a few decent minutes, given some time to get back into shape.
Who's the guy who played Navratilova?
Let's do it for charity. Let's raise some money.
Ray, who's the guy that played Navratilova in tennis? The Battle of the Sexes? Bobby Riggs. That was another classic. Another classic. Intergender. And then, by the way, I'll get off it quick. I was watching doubles tennis, mixed doubles. Have you ever watched mixed doubles?
Oh yeah.
When the guy serves to the girl's side, it's like, boom, out. Like boom, ace. And, and it's just not even close. It's like every single time they serve. It's funny to the girls. Like this, you can see them laughing with each other. It's like, you can't stop the ball. It's not stopping it,
It looks like remember like NBA jams with the ball with the flames coming out of it. It just looks like that. Like, move the camera. Yeah, but I saw live. One of my buddies got tickets to the tennis open in New York City, and I saw Serena Williams and whatever guy she was playing with on a mixed doubles team. That was unbelievable because no one watches mixed doubles either. So we were like in like the front row, and like I love Serena Williams, absolutely love her. Her legs were as big as like my waist, like unfreaking believable. Even her, she couldn't. They were still the same exact story. This guy served. I don't even know who it was. Right by her. Yeah.
She can hit 120-mile-an-hour serve too, Serena.
Yeah.
No, it's not on Roblox.
All right.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon this kid's. They're called the top 10s, right? I'm going to read you the 25 best football players of all time from 25 to 1. Enjoy this list with me because some people deserve it, and then some people I just go, they're not even 25. They're not even in the top 25. What are you thinking? But you can tell who came up with this list by the age. Number 25, going down to 1. Number 25, greatest football player of all time, Michael Vick.
Oh my God.
How? He was good in Madden.
He's not good. He was never no.
He was good for like a year or two, right?
He only beat one playoff team with a top 10 defense. He's not as good as advertised. He's not.
He's just not top 25, Kev, right?
No, not at all. I don't even. I'm hoping I misunderstood you or the internet cut out or something, but I don't understand how you could even put him on that list at all. That's crazy.
Okay,
he did 24. Really good. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say he did really good when he was the Eagles there when
that 1 year.
That 1 year. Yep.
He didn't run as much, but still.
Yeah. Yep.
24. Terrell Owens.
I like T.O. I think he's a force. But I don't know.
Better.
I can name a lot of receivers better, but I'll tell you right now, he's up there. He's undeniable. I don't know if he's one of the top 25 players of all time.
I haven't heard one yet. Number 23, Michael Irvin.
Hold on one second. Do you want to address the question in the chat?
Which is
redraft half PPR and Najee Harris or Antonio Gibson, also Miles Sanders or CEH.
Redraft.
I would do that one to Ray.
Harris or Gibson.
I'm going with Gibson. Najee
Harris is going to be the better back overall, but maybe not in the. And then Sanders is Edwards Solaire. Go with Edwards Solaire. You're going to buy him low preseason, and you're going to pay off big. That's where he's coming in.
The Eagles went out of their way to take a couple of backs too in the draft, so I don't think they're sold on Miles Sanders. Boston Scott's there too, and he vultures a lot of carries as well. Yeah. I would probably go with Edwards Solaire. I think he was a rookie last year. We forget that. I think he'll be more seasoned this year. He'll get more reps. For redraft, I love Harris in Pittsburgh, but Gibson was really good last year, and they want to run. I think either of those guys you couldn't go wrong because they're both going to catch the ball as well. I mean, Gibson showed he can receive, and Harris has one of the best hands coming out. I might take Gibson only because he's in his second year, but Harris could easily beat him.
And it's not a keeper league, right? So
no, it's a redraft.
No Najee Harris. So, all right. The next one would be 23, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, anybody? Top 25?
No, I don't see it.
No, nope. 22, Steve Young.
Steve Young was a badass, but I still don't have him up here.
21, Larry Fitzgerald.
Absolutely not.
Number 20. All right. So when I read number 20 is when I almost gave up on doing this whole thing for you guys. I still went ahead. Number 20, J.J. Watt.
This is all time, right? We're talking all time, right?
It's called Greatest NFL Players of All Time. It's the top 10s. It's the name of the site.
So what was 20?
J.J. Watt.
Oh my God.
How does he?
Awesome.
No disrespect to J.J. Watt, right? But no. Number 19, Dick Butkus.
Yes, absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Finally.
Number 18, Calvin Johnson. Might be in the top 25, but
Could be.
higher.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just
Oh my-
kidding you.
This is awesome.
I didn't buy that at all. You guys buy that one?
Not at all.
At 17?
No.
All right. Ray Lewis, number 16.
I wouldn't put him at 16. No way.
Right?
Too many other good linebackers. I'm
Yep.
sorry. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer, but
Number 15, Drew Brees.
This is joke. This is laughable. I want to talk to who made this list.
I told
This
you
is
the list.
great.
Number 14, Deion Sanders.
No, I
At 14, though?
not at 14. But he's probably top
You know what?
25.
Deion Sanders, right? He was great because you didn't throw his side and everything like that. But this was in a generation where you really ran the ball 3 downs and everything. What would Deion Sanders be today? You know what I mean?
He was still lightning.
I look at his
He,
special
lightning
teams.
fast, great punt returner. He didn't like the tackle.
Yes.
He did
No.
not like the tackle.
No, but he was
No.
lightning. When you're that fast and you're
He was
that
great.
gifted, you don't tackle.
He was great. He was great.
Number 13, Adrian Peterson.
I wouldn't put him up this here. I wouldn't put him up there.
Not
I mean,
I put
25.
I don't know. All right, so
30,
here's where I
40,
feel
30,
like the kid
45.
here's where I feel like the kid just went old school. Number 12, Johnny Unitas.
Oh my God.
Johnny Unitas doesn't even belong on my list. What are you talking about? The Jets
Why do you
QB?
think he thinks Johnny Unitas right? To look old?
No,
Look
I mean, I think he's got to be in there. Johnny Unitas has to be the top 25.
I don't think so. He wasn't his body
Yeah,
of
I
work.
think- I
He
think
had the upset. He had the upset, but
Yeah, but in his day, he was dominant.
He also he had the record for most touchdown
I'm thinking
passes.
Namath. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking. Go. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Joe Namath.
All right, number
Yeah.
11, Reggie White.
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yeah, can't argue that.
Number 10, Randy Moss.
No,
Maybe top 50,
absolutely
yeah.
not. You guys know how I feel about Randy Moss. No way.
No, he could be, without a doubt. All right, number 9, Brett Favre.
No. No.
Absolutely not.
The most overrated quarterback in
Of all
my
time.
opinion. I will stick
Of all
to that one. He was an
Of all-
interception machine. What did he do?
Most interceptions of all time. You don't care for the ball.
All right, top 8. Ready? Number 8,
I
Peyton
don't-
Manning.
Payne was unbelievable, and he deserves to be somewhere in this because
Yeah.
he's unbelievable. I'm watching what that dude did.
Yeah, can't argue that. I don't know about the
7.
number, like Master Lewis said, but he has to be in it.
7, Walter Payton.
Yes.
Yeah.
6, Barry Sanders.
Absolutely.
I'd
I
put
wouldn't put him up here, but he belongs in the 25.
Not 25 yet.
So here's the top 5. You ready? Number 5, Jim Brown.
Okay, I won't be 15.
Number 4, LT.
Yep.
And my LT, not the one that played with the
Yeah.
Chargers.
Oh
Number
no.
3, Joe Montana.
Yep.
Well,
Number
someone-
2, Tom Brady. Number 1, Jerry Rice. Now,
I think
that list was made intentionally. Wasn't made as a joke. Wasn't made as a goof. And I hate that I'm disrespecting that website, but that was a legit top 25 greatest of all time. I ask you, where are they getting their information and knowledge to come up with a list of these guys? Matt, you go first.
Well, I mean, it's only as good as the person writing it, and that person absolutely, it seems like it's more of like a household name thing. Like Larry Fitzgerald is nice, but he's not deserving of anywhere sniffing this list. And there was a few other people like Drew Brees. Come on now, Drew Brees. If he was if he was really that good, San Diego, the Chargers wouldn't have let him go. And he was not somebody who could really win on the road, on grass, certain situations. He had the one championship. We can go on and on and on. I think when you get to the top 5, you can take them up and put them in a bowl and shake it up and throw them out how you want it. But
The only thing I'd argue against, Matt, is that San Diego San Diego didn't let them go. Like, they're just idiots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just an idiot mistake. San Diego's just not the brightest of organizations.
Wasn't his shoulder was destroyed also at that time? They remember.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was a thing, and they had Phillip Rivers and he had the shoulder. So
yeah, surgery. And the Dolphins tried to grab him, right?
Yeah.
And then
The
they didn't
Dolphins
get him.
wanted
They
him
ended
big
up with Dante Culpepper.
Mhm.
Yep.
Bad, really bad.
But like
I don't understand how you put Michael Irvin in the top 25 players of all time. I mean, I'm looking at this. This list is just incredibly frustrating when you.
It seemed to me like they went with a lot of like wideouts, and to me wideouts. I mean, I like a wideout, but there's so many more things that make a team and make that work and that whole chain thing go. I like Jerry Rice, but I don't know if I would put him number one overall.
I wouldn't argue it though. I wouldn't be upset if he was.
Well, when I mean like there's a lot of things that make it happen. Like he was one of the best teams of all time, and not saying that he wasn't great. They won without him, and then they added him, and then that whole organization with going over the luxury tax so many years in a row. They had everybody who was anybody, Charles Haley, everybody. So it's a great team. He's a great player. He was a great player on a great team. I'm not opposed to it. He was great, but I don't think Jerry Rice
is the best. I got a rotating 4. Ray, see if you feel me on this.
I'll end it with this, Mike. I'll end it with this. How can you rate Jerry Rice over Brady at all?
Well, here's the thing. I have 4 guys that I can figure out a 1, 2, 3, 4 in either way, and that's Brady, Rice, Montana, Jim Brown. Those 4, to me, I could listen to somebody tell me that either one of those 4 is the top, and I'll go, all right, I'll listen to this argument. They're in the
like I said, throw them in a bowl. Throw them in a bowl and spit them out.
The only other one that would sniff the 4 is LT or Deacon Jones, but they're still not quite. I mean, LT's close. Like, if you really want to talk about it, LT could be in that top 4, but I still go with the other 4 guys for best.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Jim Brown's probably the best, but any of those 4 can carry the day. And this list obviously forgot some major players like Otto, guy's time. Deacon Jones, we already talked about. So, yeah, you can see with this list, Lance Allworth, which this kid's not going to remember Lance Allworth or, see the work that he did. So, yeah, there are a lot of players off this list that obviously belong there, but that's to be expected.
All right, but Genius Kev is connecting, so I'll give him a second. I'll do the little 3, 2, 1, see if he gets it. Nope, device is not connected. For a genius, he's having an awful long time getting connected. I just want to throw that out there. It's taking a little bit longer. All right, we'll wait for him. I'm going to move on. Ray, I was saying this to you earlier, and Matt, I want to ask you this too. I think that there's going to be so many surprise players that got picked up in the draft in later rounds because they didn't play last year.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to compile a list of guys that are showing numbers that are so ridiculous that they didn't show 2 years ago. So I really feel like this draft, there's going to be a lot of teams that got it wrong, a lot of teams that got stuff really right in the later rounds because they're going to end up with guys that are just
studs.
And so I want to start with one guy. If you guys have anybody in mind, you can tell me. So the Giants picked up Ellison Smith, right, out of Northern Iowa. He's an edge rusher linebacker. He came into college, I want to say at 100 in like 50 pounds. He's like really light. He was like a light guy, right? Got bigger, developed into a defensive end, became a really good defensive end, right? And now, so they the Giants picked him up, and what they did is they did his measurables. So he's 6'6", 260. He has a 42-inch vertical. That's the highest vertical for defensive end edge rusher that's ever been recorded, 42 inches. The guy's like and he runs a 4.7 40. And in the cone, he's ridiculous with long arms. He doesn't really know a lot of moves. Like you'll see him get offensive linemen will jump out before him to beat him for the speed rush, and he doesn't have the ability yet to hit him and go inside or spin and come back inside. He still just goes around outside and just lets the tackle run him. So that could be taught, right? I kept thinking of Jason Taylor when I look at him, right? That's a guy that I think that's a steal. That you're going to find out, like, oh my God. Never mind the fact that Azeez Ojulari went to the Giants in the second round. Like, how was he in the second round? And secondly, this kid's going to be a stud. Like, I really feel like that. You guys have anybody that you've been looking at that's like that, or what? You agree with what I'm saying? Who wants to go first, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of players in this draft that opted out that a lot of teams maybe didn't have a lot of tape on. So they talked about a lot of teams trading out of the draft this year because there weren't very many known quantities in the later rounds, and teams didn't want to take a chance. The flip side of that is if you have a good scouting department, you were able to take advantage of some steals in the later rounds. And looking at this kid that the Giants took, I mean, he wasn't even really a starter on that team. He was late to football and really needs to grow into his body. So they drafted a player in the 4th round that'll probably be on the practice squad, that they're going to get bigger and stronger, put him in a professional weight regimen. And in 2 years, he could be a starter on the edge, producing major numbers for the Giants. Another guy I would look at is the Dolphins drafted Javon Holland in the 2nd round. And again, another guy who opted out of last year. But if you look at his tape from 2019, he did everything. I mean, he's a ball hawk. He could come up, lay the hit, could play the nickel, really versatile, punt returner, average 16 yards return. So there are players like that I think slipped. He may have been a first-round pick if he played last year. So I think we can go across team after team and look at those players. And I think some teams are going to hit on them, and then some teams are obviously going to miss.
Yeah, I've never seen it like this before, like with 3rd-round picks, 4th-round picks, 5th-round picks. Some teams got guys that are going to be like contributors. And he's already up to 260, that kid. I mean, he's this close to getting off the practice team and being an edge rusher for us because we don't have that many. But a lot of teams got that. Matt, the Pats. Where do they grab a steal?
Well, the kid Bledsoe in the 6th round, they knocked him up the other day. You never see them really doing that. They attacked him, and they approached him, and they wanted to get it locked up. That means they like the kid. I like Brother Ray was saying, you got to have good scouting. And one thing I definitely know about the Patriots, even though it hasn't shown true when it comes to their drafting, they still have an eye for the guys that other teams have drafted because of what they've seen from them through their college career. So I would like to believe that the Patriots will be one of those beneficiaries of this draft and scouting people through the years. And hopefully, we'll see. I do think it's going to be, like you said, you're going to see some Titans for all of these teams that weren't even drafted. People that just didn't even get seen.
All right, so on that note, that's why I think the Patriots took so many Bama players. Because they could talk to – he has that connection. He could talk to him more, right? It was less a chance of a risk going with – the scouting was what? What was scouting this year? Like, into this draft, it was so ridiculous. You're looking at guys who played 2 years ago, guys who played this year, guys who played one game. How do you rate out one game? One game. It's one offensive line. How do you even come close?
The thing that sucks about that is, as a college coach, you want as many players that can be selected because it makes you look good. And you're also going to sell high on the kids that you had. But Bama, like I said many times, probably was the best team that I've seen out of Bama in a long time. Was it because of COVID and they made the weak look weaker and the strong organizations just beat on the bad ones? They were a very good, well-rounded team all around. And Belichick just likes leaders. He likes people that have been on those type of teams. We'll see if it helps them out.
What about you, Kevin? Have you noticed that? A lot of they didn't want to take a risk because there was really no way to scout, so they just kind of stayed close to home.
Yeah, exactly. You almost had like two philosophies on that. It was either go for like the big power schools like Alabama, Clemson, and stuff like that. And then you had the some other places where teams were looking for like diamonds in the rough, like somebody that no one heard of or has like insane measurables or something sort of at the whole other end of the extreme.
It was probably like mostly mouth to mouth, right? The college coaches had to probably do a lot more this year, like hyping up all their players to NFL teams, right? That's pretty much what it comes down to. Do you believe the college coach? Because some are probably selling bad goods, I would think. No, right?
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I mean, there's a track record. You know, like Matt was saying with Alabama, you know what you're getting. You know how they're coached. A lot of these coaching staffs, you know how they're being coached. You know, when you come out of Alabama, you're not going to be a sensitive little flower. You're going to be used to the pinnacle of in the SEC battling, the powers of college football. So, I mean, you're already tested, playing under the bright lights of Alabama. You're already ready for the pro game. I think a lot have to do with the transition to the NFL. They're looking at these players as, all right, maybe they weren't great college players. There could be a variety of reasons for that. Maybe they were third on the depth chart, and they couldn't sniff being a starter in Alabama. But you're looking at their skills and the way they will translate to the next level. And a lot of players, and we've seen it, are not very good college players. They get a chance in the pros. They get a professional weight program. They put on the weight. They get some solid coaching, and they become diamonds in the rough.
Well, because we all refuse to admit that they're kids.
Yeah.
They're kids at this age. They haven't grown up yet. They're not grown. I wasn't grown till, I don't know if I am now, and I'm ancient. But like 21, 22, what do you know? Like, your body's not even finished. I didn't even finish growing till I was 21. Like, I literally grew till I was 21. Like, so these kids are changing their body size. You're not like when you're young, you can't gain weight because, like, I'll explain it this way. Your back is this close to your chest, right? But then when you get older, old guys, our back and chest just get this far apart. No matter what we do to stay in shape. Like, I'm 180 right now, 182. Doesn't matter. Profile, my back and chest are this far away. They'll never be this close. It's just life. You know what I mean? So these are kids. I think that a lot of teams are going to come up strong. I really do. I think you're going to finally find out which teams are really smart, have the right people in place, and then which teams are just a joke, right?
Well, it seems like it's always the same teams that are kind of the jokes and the same teams that are kind of the cream on top. The one thing that I do say, like, I'll echo what Brother Ray was saying and it's starting to get me a little jittery. I'm getting excited about Mac Jones. Keep on hearing how smart he is, and he doesn't look good with the mechanics and whatnot, but maybe he just knows where to pinpoint that ball, and that's the what the Patriots are looking at. Because when it was and one stat, I think I might have said it before, Brady's thrown to the most open receivers of all time. So one thing that the Patriots know how to do is they know how to get people open. And we see that a lot of these plays are just scripted, and then the play shows itself after, like, they cleared space, and then you see somebody come out in the flat or do a little hitch to the outside. That's easy for somebody who's already, like, smart like Matt Jones, knows where the ball's going. And I think that that's what we have here. Maybe that's why the Patriots were like, I'm going to take him. Nick Saban says the kid's super smart, knows what he's doing with the ball, and maybe we got something there. We'll see. But that's what it takes when Alabama coached NFL talent around him. We'll see.
You realize this exact conversation happened on draft night between me and Brother Ray and you. We were trying to tell you that Mac Jones was ugly as a passer, and I kept saying it over and over, that he always drops the ball where you need it to be. The ball seems to be dropped in weird spots, right? But his mechanics, they just look like awful.
I had a kid from Tennessee, and he hates Alabama, but he says, you just got yourself the next Tom Brady. And I hate when people say that, but the thing that they could be right when they're saying is it's the brain. And what we were just talking about with kids, you got children. These kids are getting so fluffed. And now, can you handle that? Can you handle the next step? Are you ready for the grind? And a lot of these people who are smart, they're already higher and bigger than that moment. I do believe Mac Jones could probably be that type of guy where he's like, dude, I've already playing in stadiums full of people and everything like that. But it might be too heavy for Jamarcus Russell or Tim Couch or all these other people.
Yeah, Andrew Baker.
Yeah, that's insane. That's such and it's the everyday life of tragedy where you see these players that don't grow up out of that ego.
I do not know if you're Gettleman that you're drafting a guy that's prone to going to dice games and shooting up the place.
You sit down and you talk to him for more than a minute, and you can get an idea.
That's allowed.
You
He
sit
might
down and you
tell
talk
you.
with him.
DeAndre Baker might have told you if you asked. So, all right, DeAndre, one more question. Would you ever go shoot up a dice game? So you're like, yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, if you asked that question, I think you would have known. I don't think they asked that question. Personally,
They missed it.
traded
They
up to
missed
the first round to get him.
The alarms were out with Aaron Hernandez. He was a first-round talent. He dropped to the 4th. You know, he was a real deal gangster and NFL's first serial killer that we know of. But I'll tell you what, they're there. And these people have been given money, and it fills their ego, and they don't grow up. How do you not conform to greatness when Bill Belichick and Tom Brady around you? Kid was going to be
When he got convicted of murder, they cut to Ray Lewis going, like, I'm out. Like, I'm no longer going to be attached to that. I'm out. Like, I'm out. You won't even hear about what I did. No one talks about him stabbing somebody.
Was he scrubbing the white suit?
brothers.
Scrubbing the white suit?
I think the part that I don't understand with all this is the teams spend so much money in supposedly investigating people. How do you miss then you read the really long form articles about Hernandez and the documentary and everything, and like it went all the way back to when he was a kid in high school. He was hanging out with gang members. How do you miss that? How do you miss DeAndre Baker? Like, how do you miss these guys? Like that's the part I really don't understand. It's not like,
Can you help me win? Can you help me win?
He had gang tattoos.
Yeah.
I wonder what Urban Meyer said back then to Bill Belichick.
Yeah. I mean, didn't he
I wonder what his assessment was.
Isn't it alleged that he like shot somebody in the face while he was in college?
Oh, he did. Yeah. No, he did. The guy came out and testified against him. Yeah. He's got a fake eye. He thought he left him for dead, shot him, and left him, pushed him out the car, and the bullet took his eye out. But he got back up, and he said, "I didn't want to bring any attention to Aaron. I wanted to kill him." So, you know, and he ended up testifying.
Shot somebody hunting. You guys remember that? Dick Cheney shot somebody in the face hunting.
Yeah.
It was a bird shot he shot out of the shotgun. It wasn't the buckshot, thank God. He would have killed the guy. But the bird shot is the pellets burn the guy's face. I didn't know that down south that states have a law where you have to go bird shot, buckshot, bird shot, and the last three just buckshot, buckshot, buckshot. Like Dave Chappelle explained it pretty funny. He said it was like birdshot, buckshot, birdshot, and then it's just a reggae jam. Buckshot, buckshot, buckshot. Which it is, right? But I didn't know you had to do that. You won them with a birdshot. All right, so they say that the click, I'll get off this, but the click is what's supposed to make them run. If they don't run on that, birdshot.
Shouldn't you know what you're shooting at, though?
What? Shouldn't
you know what you're shooting at?
Well, yeah. No, we're talking about this was like he saw somebody in his house. You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
But the buckshot apparently it's so weird. The bird shot, I guess, just hurts the guy and burns, but the buckshot will blow his face off.
Well, you and Genius will be able to tell us pretty soon.
That's what I'm saying.
Fort Defiance. You can tell us.
Genius. I looked up Fort Defiance. I don't know if you have. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful area, right? But it is the wild wilderness. It's like they're gonna make fun of the two guineas walking around all day. Yeah, look at these wops. Look at these two wops. Look at them. What are they doing here? And the thing is, Kev, did you notice that the times on Saturday and Sunday the show runs?
I thought it was like 10 until like 7 or something.
12 to 5.
Oh, really? Oh.
What are me and you gonna do on a Saturday night, 5:30 p.m. in Fort Defiance, Virginia? We're gonna end up getting drunk, going into the woods with these guys. One of us might not be coming back. One of us might be driving.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be dead. You both are.
I just hope I get lucky. I get the bird shot. That's all I hope is I get that I'm the one catching the bird shot, not the buck shot. That's it.
You're gonna be like, run, Yankee.
All right, guys, let's go over Aaron Rodgers just because I want to right now.
Oh.
Are you on his side or are you against him? Who wants to start?
I'm against him. 100% against them. Listen, Tom Brady, when he was on the Patriots, it didn't matter what distraction it was. He wanted to deflect it. This guy is like a mosquito thing that you hang in the air, just attracting. Shut up, win. Even Russell Wilson over in Seattle, it's taken a lot when I love the competitive nature, but they're seeing Brady do what he did in Tampa Bay. They want to win. But when you look at it, Aaron Rodgers, just shut up and play and win. But he can't. I think he hates that Jordan Love's there. I think that they hate that they drafted him, and he's talking about, I want commitment. Dude, if like I was just saying with Drew Brees, if you're really one of the greatest of all time, you have nothing to worry about. Why do you need this pat on the back? Shut up.
Ray?
He's trying to go to Denver, and I really think there is some serious tampering charges that should be brought against the Broncos and some of these other teams that have been actively talking to him. He knows what he's doing. He's playing this game, hoping to get traded to Denver. He's always been a little crazy. This is why, again, he dropped in the draft when he came out, because the whispers out of Cal was that this guy wasn't serious about football. He wasn't committed to it. And you can see the way he's acting now. You know what? You want to be the full-time host of Jeopardy? Go for it, Aaron.
That's what I think about.
Go for it. I'm not going to
want you,
but do it. It's just a shame what he's doing right now to one of the classic organizations in all of NFL football, the Green Bay Packers.
Yep. One of the originals. Kev?
Yeah. I mean, he's a strange guy, and I don't side with him. I definitely don't. But he if I were Green Bay, what's happening is happening. Whether we want it to or not, it's happening, right? So how do they handle it? They only have a couple options. Somehow they reconcile, right? And I don't know how they do that because he wants people fired. The only thing you could probably do is write like a $10 million check and guarantee he's not going to be there next season, or you let him retire, or you trade him away. And if they trade him away and he goes and wins 2 Super Bowls in Denver, the fan base is never gonna forgive that. So Green Bay is in a really, really tough position. Rodgers is a fragile, delicate kind of guy. He still doesn't talk to his family. He had all that stuff with the women he's dated are kind of in and out of the news. Like, it's just he's a weird guy. And like the thing that's crazy about it to me is he was on a downward trajectory for the last few years. Everyone and like that, people aren't really bringing that up. He was on a downward trajectory. They draft Love. They piss him off. He spends all the offseason going back through game tapes. He fixes his mechanics. He reignites himself. Has a monster season. If they didn't draft Love and he didn't do those things, he would still be on a downward trajectory, and everyone would, and no one would care. Not no one would care, but the attention on him would be so much lower. So he almost owes them a little bit of a debt of gratitude for getting him fired back up. But he doesn't see it that way at all. He sees it as he was slighted, and now he wants out. It's a very strange situation, and like they can't win. The Packers are in a very, very difficult spot. I don't know how they win.
Well, I can tell you what they did to try to fix the situation. They went out and signed Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
that should take care of everything.
Yep.
Probably.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Blake Bortles.
I bet you are.
He is the AFC Championship representative, and I'll tell you what, he wasn't on the most gifted team. He had a decent defense. That guy's done a lot of good. He's a tremendous. I mean, you want to call a backup. I don't believe he's a backup. He's a starter, and now you got him as a backup? That's great.
I don't like Blake Bortles, right?
Yeah, I mean, decision-making with him, he's always had the physical skill. It's been the decision-making that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, he wasn't on great teams, let's be honest, and that probably blew his real shot. But, I mean, as a backup, fine. I think that works. But, I mean, if Jordan Love has to start the season and Blake Bortles is your backup, they have some problems.
I don't think so. I like Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is going to be okay, and I think Green Bay's got a good team. And that's why when we were talking about me and Kev, we missed you guys. We did a show the other day, and we talked about the over-under win totals. And they had the Packers around 11.5, and they took them off the board. You got the Broncos, and I think that's with what they're thinking is with Aaron Rodgers at 8.5. That's what they think of that team, even with Aaron Rodgers. It's a big difference between the teams of the Broncos and the Packers. I think the Packers already, even without Aaron Rodgers, are a good team. Then you add Jordan Love, they're going to be all right, especially now. awful division.
There's a lot of young quarterbacks starting this year or playing this year, and I don't like a lot of them. I think a lot of them are going to be bust. I think the biggest bust, of course, is obviously over in Philadelphia. The guy who couldn't start over Tua. You could not beat Tua out. Just couldn't do it. But now he's going to go start for the Eagles, which makes sense. That garbage fire that it is. But other notable guys in training camp, just on the Giants side of things, we had running back Corey Clement from the Eagles. He's in to try out. And at tight end, we have Kelvin Benjamin. Just let it sit in your head for a second. Kelvin Benjamin's back in the NFL, trying to play tight end for the Giants. Used to play wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. Long Brady came in as a high. Everyone loved Kelvin Benjamin. Now he's heavy. And he's trying to play football with the Giants as a tight end. That's the truth. They want to say he got that way on purpose.
He was always Big King, but size and weight doesn't matter with Kelvin Benjamin. He separates. He knows how to run routes, and his hands are unbelievable. I think if he thinks he can play tight end, you give him a shot, and you let him go. I love Kelvin Benjamin.
Ray, what do you think of trying out Kelvin Benjamin at tight end?
Yeah, I mean, Gettleman knows him. He drafted him in Carolina, and we forget that Benjamin was one of the first stud wide receivers to come out of Clemson that started this string of these wideouts coming out of that place. He has great ability in the red zone. The issue with him as a pro was concussions. He had several concussions. He was banged up. He had the knee. I mean, he really took a beating. The one thing with him is he's going to take a physical beating, but he's had a little time off. The hope is that he can come back. I don't think he's 250. I think he's probably more like 260, 270.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure his weight's going to fluctuate, and they're going to probably stretch that a bit, saying he's at 250. It's probably heavier than that. But as Matt said, he knows what to do as far as catching the ball. He separates well. He's great on a 50-50 jump ball. He's not going to block. Let's be honest. He's not going to be a blocker. He's not going to be in line. He's going to be basically your move tight end, and you're going to put him in the red zone and let him go win a jump ball. I think it's a great signing by them.
Kev?
Hey, I'd say give it a shot. If he doesn't make it out of camp, he doesn't make it out of camp. He's huge, like we always said. Like everything Master Thomas and Ray said, I agree with. So, why not give him a chance? You have to bring up the other convert to tight end that's getting a chance, also, right?
Oh yeah, he's coming next.
All right, cool. But yeah, I would say he's 6'5". He's humongous. Maybe he gives England a couple of plays off every game. Maybe they try to do two tight ends and threaten the linebackers and the safeties, something like that. But it could work. But I wouldn't draft him in fantasy. If I was in a best ball draft right now, I would not take him.
No, agreed. All right. So the other former quarterback that wants to be a tight end. Okay. Let's go with this. Let me just say this off the jump. I believe that he could play tight end in the NFL. I think he's just a pure athlete. He's one of the best athletes we've ever seen, and no one wants to give him props for that. Speed, strength, everything. Ray, what do you think? I don't even want to say his name. What do you think of the new tight end in the NFL?
Yeah, good-looking kid. That's all. Good-looking kid. He should have done it in the first place. Teams were begging him when he came out to come out as a tight end. Hey, this quarterback thing's not going to work. Be a tight end. You'll have like several years in the league. And he's finally doing it now. He's going to be that tight end, fullback, H-back, do-it-all player. And I think he's going to fit. And I think he's got the perfect coach, obviously, who knows him as well as anybody. And I think the coaches give him a shot. Why not? If anybody could do it, it could be him.
Kev?
I'm kind of all over the place on this one because, like, he should have done it in the beginning. The fact that he's there is going to be a media circus, and maybe they're doing it to take some of the pressure off Lawrence, with the media. So there's a little bit of a second level game there being played. I don't think it's going to work because he should have done it so long ago. tight end's a hard position to learn in the NFL. Like even the great ones usually take a couple of years. Actually, tight ends peak in their like 5th season or something, so 7th season, something crazy like that. So I don't think he has the time to really learn the position, and I don't like the fact that he's taken a roster spot. So I would say overall, I'll say it won't work, and I am not a fan.
I think he learns. I think he watched tight ends long enough to know what to do. Basically, he can block, he can catch, he'll be able to run routes, and plus, like Ray said, you put him as an H-back, like a fullback, he could throw it. Like he could throw it. You know what I mean? If you hand him out wide, Matt, hold on, Matt, what do you think?
I hate that Genius Kev just says he's going to be like taking a roster spot. He could be a backup QB along with a tight end and an H-back. Like this is something that has been proven. He took a very, very bad Broncos team to the playoffs. He did that. I can't believe he didn't get his due after that. I mean, they beat a decent Steelers team. Am I saying he's the best quarterback of all time? Absolutely not. But we're talking about playing tight end. The kid's a winner. I want to go run through a wall after listening to one of his speeches. That on your team is infectious. So when you ask him to come out, he runs back because Irvin is like his father. When Irvin says, come be part of this, and he says, I'll gladly accept, I know you guys know how I feel about the Jaguars. This is going to be a pot of gumbo of success. It can't fail. It cannot fail. When you have so much talent all over in these spots, you have to defend that. So you don't know what to expect with Tim Tebow, and we will see it. And we're going to see something different. And I think Urban's not going to fail in the NFL. It's not going to happen. It's not. I love what's going to happen here.
Yeah, he's not going to be a traditional tight end, Genius. I don't see him coming out being the traditional tight end. I think he's going to be an H-back, and they're going to use him on certain gimmick plays. They have a lot of versatility on that team now. Etienne they're working him as a wide receiver right now.
That's what my next topic was going to be.
Yeah. So, you have him, you have Laviska Shenault, who also can take the ball out of the backfield as a running back. He can do everything. So I think Urban's trying to be flexible, and he's going to pretty much pick where he uses Tebow. And like you said, if Tebow doesn't make the team, it's not like they're going to lose anything.
Yeah,
I want to touch on – there is one thing I want to touch on. As an ex-musician, my bass player would tell me never wrestle before a show because it would make you like a limp noodle. And Tim Tebow now is actually investigated those fails. Does he have the warrior in him any longer, or has it been extinguished?
Why would he tell you not to wrestle before a show?
Because you wanna be like.
So wrestling takes the energy out of you?
I'm just saying wrestling.
Yeah.
I just don't think he wanted you to hit him.
No. I'm saying
women weaken legs.
Don't be going and exhausting yourself before the show.
Dude, I played wiffle ball, frisbee, football games in the parking lot. I once played, that band, The Roof is on Fire, the Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah.
We played them in Ultimate Frisbee after they got off stage, before we were going to go on. Like, people loaded stuff, and I'm out there because I never loaded jack nizzle. When it was time to move the tabs, I would disappear. Oh, I wanted none of that stuff.
Shocked.
I'm outside playing Ultimate Frisbee. I remember coming on stage, soaked in sweat. It didn't matter. It was part of the show. Whatever. My thing was, whatever happened, well, that was supposed to happen. This is part of the show. Like you're not paying for me to be good. In case you're wondering, not paying for me to be good. You're just paying to see what happens when we go on stage.
That's a good philosophy.
Rossini will definitely back that up, because that was the type of kid where you didn't know what you were going to get until he started to play. And I know if I'm off track, but God forbid the sound guy said, could you turn down your radio guitar on stage? He'd look at the guy, and you see him turn just a bit. If you heard it one more time, could you turn down, because he was always too loud on the stage. Could you turn down the guitar again? He would crank it as hard as he could and play that loud for the rest of the night. And that's what everybody had to deal with. That's just how it went. So I was used to it. But
Before we move on, I just want to get a question because we're obviously on different sides of this in the Tebow debate. So I want to get a little bit of an on record call here from Brother Ray and Mastronomist. Where do you see him ending? You see him making the roster? You see him, like almost like probably not a starter, but do you see him? How many? Like, what do you predict? Like 40 receptions, 30 receptions, 60 receptions?
He's not going to be a fantasy. He's not going to be a fantasy commodity whatsoever. He's going to be help the team on the field win. I think he's going to play special teams. I think he's going to be the jack of all trades. I think Urban Meyer is going to be comfortable and use him as a security blanket on the team throughout the year. I think Urban needs a security blanket through the year, and I think Tebow is that. He's won with Tebow. They've been to war together. I think he's going to make the team, but he will not be a fantasy asset whatsoever.
I agree with that.
I don't know about that. Because listen to this, right? You got no tight end in Jacksonville. Who is their tight end? They don't have one. So this is actually a move that they most likely need. So now you put him he's not just the tight end like you said, Brother Ray. He's like the out, he'll probably play he's not Travis Kelce, but he'll play, out wide and whatnot. But Laviska Shenault returns to the slot. And that now opens him up. But you will utilize Tim Tebow. I don't think he's going to be hot. I think he'll probably get anywhere from 30 to 45 grabs. But I do think he'll be a red zone problem. I think you can line him up in the backfield, fullback, hand it off to him. Yeah, let him run. He can run through that line. Yeah. You might see him get 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns this year, 4 or 5 grabbing touchdowns. That makes him a fantasy commodity.
He definitely could vulture goal line touchdowns. That's the one thing I'm going to agree with you. Definitely could vulture them.
Say this. You don't go with a tight end early in fantasy and you add Tebow and he does become that and you put him in the tight end slot and he does take rushing touchdowns. That's what you want. And now you got a running back / tight end in the tight end spot.
All right. Last thing, we're going to go over quick because we're towards the end. I was looking at all the receivers that went in the first round, and I kind of thought about how they would be fantasy-wise with the new teams they're on, right? All the way from Jamar Chase to the end of the round. And right now, as it stands, my opinion is Rashad Bateman has the best opportunity for where he is to make fantasy points compared to the other wide receivers. With the quarterback he has and the system that he's in, I think Lamar's going to finally have somebody he can throw to and depend on. That Rashad Bateman is that good. He's a number one. And I think you're going to see a difference this year. I do. I think Rashad Bateman will lead the wide receivers in fantasy points this year.
I like Bateman, but I got the kid in the Lions, because it's just the targets have to be there for him.
I think he becomes the first number one they've had in a long time. Ray, when's the last time the Ravens had a number one like Rashad Bateman?
Size-wise, it's been a while. I know Steve Smith was a number one when he was there. Different player, 5'9" guy, but plays bigger than that. I think size-wise, they finally do have their number one, but I don't trust Lamar Jackson, and I'm not there yet. So I think that's what's going to hold Bateman back. I don't think it's going to be Bateman. I think it's going to be the scheme, and I think it's going to be Lamar Jackson that holds him back.
Sorry, so who do you pick as the wide receiver to have the most fantasy points out of that group that went in the first round?
Chase.
I'd say Chase or even Smith. I think Smith is going into a situation in Philly where they're so hungry for number one. The Bengals had Higgins last year. They have Tyler Boyd. They have 2 other good wide receivers on that team. So Chase will come along slowly. But I think there is nobody in front of Smith right now in Philly.
You know why?
Nope.
You know why? Because Philly stinks. You just mentioned that you didn't trust what's his name as a quarterback, but then you go to Philly and you're like, oh, but I love the situation Smith's in. Who's throwing the ball?
I love her.
Yeah, he got beat up to it in college. That kid stinks. You what?
Because you have a pecking order.
You're saying that you have more faith in him, Jalen Hurts, than Lamar Jackson.
Throwing the ball, I do, yes.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to be all wrong on that. I think Lamar
Hurts can throw the ball.
Yeah, I love Bateman. like he was. King, remember when we were talking about wide receivers in this draft, and there were a lot of them were like just small and like slot guys and everything. Bateman was one of the few that wasn't, and I really like him, but I'm not. I don't have faith in the offense. It's Lamar. It's the scheme. Like they're like the number one rushing offense by far over the last 3 years. Like by far, number of carries, number of yards.
They didn't have that receiver that could scheme into it. They did not have a guy that could put in the scheme and open things up. He actually opens the offense up dramatically for that team, more so than any other team, because like you said, they ran the ball. Quarterback, running back, the coach, the water boy. They just ran the ball. Now he can jump back and throw the ball to Rashad Bateman. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they didn't have a guy like that last year. They didn't do it once. He's not going to not – look, they didn't draft Rashad Bateman to not be thrown to. They didn't draft him first round in that offense to not make him part of the offense. They're going to scheme with him involved. That means he's the guy that's going to catch all the balls.
I will say this. Mark Andrews was ghost last year. Patrick Swayze. Marquise Brown didn't have a good year. It was the inconsistency of that offense. You know, they did what they did towards the tail end of the year. They tried to expand that offense. That's what made them hiccup. He's stunted. Lamar Jackson is stunted.
But that's why they drafted this kid for that one point. I'm trying to say that.
I think I agree with I agree with what you're saying. I think everything you said is accurate. It's whether the execution happps is the question. I agree with Mastradamus. I think Lamar Jackson is what he is. Unless he somehow has to learn to throw outside the hashes, he can't do it right now. Maybe they figure it out. Maybe they solve it. But the thing with Philly with Devonta Smith, I don't like Jalen Hurts. I'm not a fan, but no one's going to throw like someone. There are going to be. He is going to complete some passes. There are going to be all the targets are going to go to Devonta Smith. But the thing I worry about most there is Philly's a dysfunctional organization. They hired a new head coach nobody ever heard of. They got a new quarterback. Smith has all that potential, and they'll probably work the whole offense around scheming him open like they did at Alabama. So I would go with him if I had a choice. If I had to draft between Smith or Bateman, I would probably take Smith.
I'm a long term, yeah, I think Smith. But I'm telling you, I'm just saying this year, that one guy that I think that's going to be the fantasy standout because of the system he's in. Like Jamar Chase has got other guys, like we said. Then there's a bunch of rookie quarterbacks, or second-year guys, third-year guys, that we're all going to say who's good, who's not. But then it gets to Bateman, where he's actually in a system that needed him so bad last year that's why they drafted him. Does that make sense? Like the Giants have receivers, but they still took the guy. The Ravens had Sangab. They had to get somebody to go catch the ball. That's all I'm saying.
The reason I say Chase is this. Chase is definitely trying to gun for that Jefferson record. And Burrow with Chase is definitely going to go, I have my fluidity, and not for nothing, T. Higgins and Boyd kind of roam the middle. Higgins is like a very good Randall Cobb. Jamar Chase is going to extend that defense. He's a different animal than the other two. This is a different addition to the offense. Now this is going to be more down the field with Burrow, and Burrow knows that receiver very well. So we're going to see them spot right off the start. Justin Jefferson had a very slow start to last year.
Yeah,
I think he's going to I think Chase makes Higgins better. I think that's how good those two receivers are.
Makes that entire offense better.
Just those two. Those two guys, then with Boyd as the third, those three receivers can become really special. They had the opportunity to come.
Yeah.
If Joe doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I also think some of those 5'9" guys that were taken in the second round may actually have better rookie years than the first round picks. I think Elijah Moore might have a better year than all of them, to be honest with you. There's plenty of opportunity in New York. Plenty of opportunity there. And they're going to be behind. You got to look at the situation too. Bad teams are behind, and they're all game. Elijah Moore could average, 12 targets a game.
No. Yeah. Right. Here's my reasoning. What team is he on?
Oh.
Jets.
So when I hear that, what am I supposed to do? Believe you? Like it ain't gonna happen.
This is fantasy. It's not gonna happen. Game. It's about opportunity to put.
Right. This quarterback they just drafted, he'll be here for 3 years, and then we all decide what team he's gonna go to next because he'll be gone. They'll figure out a way to ruin the kid you just mentioned, Elijah Moore. They'll figure it out. They ruin wide receivers better than any football team has ever ruined wide receivers. The Jets. They take a great wide receiver, and then in like 3 years, he's got like mental problems. He can't run routes. He doesn't want to wear a helmet. Like They destroy people. They destroy their lives. They destroy their souls, right? So you're wearing a Dolphins t-shirt. How can you tell me that anyone on the Jets is going to succeed?
Opportunity, baby. Opportunity.
And you know what? I realized what Zach Wilson reminded me of in the suit on draft night. He reminded me of a valet guy. You should pull up to the Biltmore, throw him your keys, and have him park your car. That's exactly what he looked like in a suit on draft night. Took me a while to put it all together, but yeah.
Like he thought his suit was spiffy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, nice suit, kid.
I think draft night, I talked about it like him. It's like basically him going to San Quentin. That's happening. Him going to the Jets. He's like going to maximum security in San Quentin.
Yeah.
Welcome to the weight room. So what are we doing? And they go, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Playing cards in the corner, shoot craps. Like, that's what I expect in the Jets organization. All right, we're over time. Anything you want to add, Ray?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I think these mini camps last week were exciting. Seeing the rookies run around, no contact yet, but we're going to have real training camps this summer with real exhibition games, and we're going to be able to see these players. Looking forward to it.
Matt?
Just another Sunday down with the fellas. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and see you guys all soon.
Kev?
I got to end with a quick question. We're starting to get people watching the show asking about positions and redrafts and all that. It's still May, right? Leagues are already drafting. Brother Ray, are you in a league that's drafting soon?
It sounds like they're trading already.
Yeah. I mean, dynasty leagues that go year round and basically you keep the same roster. You know, a lot of them are open and trading. My draft for my dynasty league will be like early August. Yeah, some leagues do have off-season trades. People are trading now. Some leagues have rookie drafts too. Like right after the draft, they'll do the rookie draft right there and then.
Anyway, that's it, King. I'm looking forward to Paranormal tonight, as usual. Looking forward to the training camp. One thing we should talk about next show is the COVID vaccination drama going on in Buffalo, and another player got season-ending injury in Denver away from the facility. So we should probably hit those things. I'm kind of keeping an eye on that because that's crazy. But I'll leave it at that.
What freaked me out is 8 Yankees caught the virus and they were all vaccinated.
Give me a shot. Yeah, it's crazy.
They were all vaccinated, and 8 Yankees on the organization still got sick with the virus. All of them were vaccinated twice. What is that? What are these?
Breakthrough cases. You're going to be seeing more of those as everyone walks around without a mask. You're going to see more and more breakthrough cases, unfortunately.
All right, so tonight we're going to be welcoming paranormal investigator Matt Warner to the show. He seems psyched to be on the show. I'm psyched to have him on the show. I want to ask him a bunch of stuff. And then finally, I want to end with Sterling Shepard changed his jersey number from 87 to 3. And that tells you everything you need to know about Sterling Shepard right there. In a hand, that dude's career, the way he plays. Why would you trade in 87 for 3? Worst part is, I was watching an auction thing and a kid won a Sterling Shepard signed jersey. 87. It's a throwback jersey already. It's ridiculous. It is redundant. It's stupid. I hate those numbers, and I'm glad that like on the guy we drafted, the wide receiver, we took 89. Then we ran 89, as opposed to what we're in, what 1 in college. So what we go with that. All right, we will see you tonight. Legit Fantasy Paranormal. This was Legit Fantasy Sports. The Mastradamus, Brother Ray, and the genius Kev. It is me, Mike Leprechaun Michael, Legit Fantasy Sports. Thank you for watching.